kit we are going to make today is the Dragonfly Angel. The equipment you will need is a 12-inch ruler, a pair of ordinary scissors and a cocktail stick. Open your kit and start to sort your beads. You need to sort in size and colour. You may want to pause your video now while you sort your beads. So once you have sorted your beads into sizes, you'll notice you have a large crystal bead, and just take a check inside that you have no beads that have got stuck inside. If you have, just take your cocktail stick and push them through. That's going to be your head. You then have one that's slightly smaller than your head, and then you have three that are smaller again. We're going to put those to one side for a minute because we don't need those till later. You then have 5 beads that are larger than the rest. You have 4 small crystal beads. You have 1 red bead, 1 snowflake bead, and quite a number of seed beads. You need to take 2 seed beads and put those back in your bag, and we'll use those later on when we come to do the wings. So to make the crystal angel, we're going to start and make the tail, and then we'll work up the body. Take your wire and uncoil your wire, and you need to cut 2 inches or 5 centimetres of wire. You also need to cut 8 inches or 24 centimetres of wire. So you now have 3 pieces of wire, a small one, a middle-sized one and a long one. Take the long one and coil that back up and put it in the same bag as your 2 seed beads. You can also put your next size wire to one side, we'll use that in a second. Take your 2-inch piece of wire and just check that you don't have any bits of plastic on the end, and just give them a trim if you do. The wire is very soft, so you can just cut with normal scissors. So as I said before, we're going to start and we're going to make the tail piece. So take your 2 inches of wire and the red bead, place the red bead onto the wire about ½ an inch or a centimetre along the wire, and then you're just going to bend the wire in a U shape. You're not putting it on the middle of the wire, it's just at one end. Next, take one of the small crystal beads and place that on your wire. I've taken a pink one, but it doesn't matter if you've put a clear one on. You're just going to try and push the end of the wire that you turned into a U shape into the bead so that it sits together. Just going to move these slightly out of the way. Next, you're going to go to the opposite end of your wire and you're going to turn over about 1 centimetre of the wire to make a small loop, and that's your tail. Place your tail down and take your 8 inches or 24 centimetres of wire, and we're now going to start and make the body. So we'll work all the way along the body, over the head to the halo, and the wings will be done last in one piece. So now we're going to start and make the body. You need your 8-inch or 24cm piece of wire. Take your tail and you're going to feed the wire through the loop that you made for the tail. And I'm just going to do a couple of twists to hold that in place. You can also twist the loop to tighten that, and you'll see you've got a tail that moves quite freely. What we're going to do now is we're going to alternate our beads. So I've used a pink one to start with. So my next one is going to be a small clear crystal bead. Place that on your wire, move it down to where you twisted, and just try and push the end of the wire through the bead. Next one is going to be a small pink crystal bead. Followed by a small clear crystal bead. The next beads you should have 5 of the next size up, and I'm on a pink one, so I'm going to place a pink on the end. And then I'm going to alternate with the other 4 beads. The beads are all going to graduate in size, so if you think your bead is too large, just check the beads you have and take the smaller ones. So we're going to come on to the next set of beads, and you're also going to need your snowflake bead at some time. So we're going to take the next sizes, and again we're just going to continue to alternate. So these are the next size, slightly bigger than the ones that you've just put on your wire. You're going to take your next size crystal bead and place that on your wire. You can see they're just all slowly graduating slightly larger. The next bead is your snowflake bead, and these may be different colours. Mine's red, yours may be clear or green. And then finally we're going to place the head on the top. Next you're going to place 20 of the small seed beads onto this wire. 1 or 2 may go inside the head once you've put them on the wire, but that doesn't matter, don't worry if they go inside. So you're going to place 20. The easiest way I find to do this is to just wet my finger and the bead sticks on. So you need 20 of these. So you now have 20 small seed beads. Move the beads towards the head and take the wire, and you're just going to make a loop so that the last seed bead goes to the first seed bead. So don't worry if you've got one or two that have gone inside the head bead, there's plenty to make a halo. So make a circle and then just twist the wire 3 or 4 times to hold. You can then trim, once you know that you've done the 3 or 4 twists, you can then trim the wire off. So that's the dragonfly body and tail. The next part we're going to do is we're going to attach the wings. So go back to your bag and take out your last piece of wire, but leave the 2 small seed beads in the bag. You don't need those until right at the end. Uncoil your wire, put both ends of your wire together so that you make a U shape. You're going to place your wire either side of your main body between, you've got the red snowflake bead, come down one, and it's between those 2 beads that you're going to place the wire. So place the wire either side of the body wire, and then just wrap around once so that it holds the wire in place. Now we're going to work on one wing at a time, so we're going to fold this wire so that it is out of the way, and we're just going to work on this wing. Just place your angel down for a second, and you need to split your remaining seed beads in half. So you may want to pause your video while you split your beads in half. So once you've split your beads into 2 groups, provided they're even numbered, or both the same, you just need to move one lot to the side, and you'll use those afterwards. You may find that you've got a spare bead, that's fine, it's just that the beads are all weighed, so sometimes you get an even number, sometimes you get an odd number, and you might use the odd one for a spare if you drop one on the floor. So we're just going to work on one set of beads. So take the angel, and as I said, we're just working on one wing at a time. Wet the end of your finger, and you're just going to feed one set of beads onto the wire. So you may want to pause your video now while you continue to thread the beads onto the wire. So you now have a complete set of beads on one wing. Take your wire to form a loop so that the beads line up next to the body, and wrap that wire twice around the body wire, and that's one wing completed. We're now going to repeat the process on the opposite wing and feed your remaining set of beads onto this wire. So it's the same process. Wet your finger and the beads will stick to your finger, and then it's easier to place them on your wire. You might want to pause your video now while you continue to do that wing. So you've now completed the beads on your second wing. We're going to do exactly the same. You're going to bend the wire towards the body so that the beads sit side by side, and wrap that wire twice around the body. I'm just going to bring the wires so that they're both on top, front. Now what we're going to do is you need your cocktail stick. We're just going to do a quick check and trim our wires. So that they're even. Take one wire and your cocktail stick, and we're going to start and make a spiral or a spring. So hold your cocktail stick against your wire and just bend your wire twice around your cocktail stick, and you should have 2 beads that you had left in your bag. If you didn't put them to one side, it's no problem. Place your bead on the wire and then continue to wrap the wire a couple of times around the cocktail stick. Leave about a centimetre or half an inch. Pull your wire, your cocktail stick out of your wire, and then just fasten the wire on the opposite side of the wing. And then to hold your bead in place, you can just push the wire together. So that's one wing. You may find that you've got more wire left and you've got more coils. That's fine. We're going to repeat the same on the next wing. All I'm doing is just pulling the wire so that it's sitting in the middle of the join of the ring of the wire. So do a couple of turns around the cocktail stick, place a bead on the end, do a couple more turns till you've got about a centimetre left at the end. Pull your cocktail stick through and attach the wire the opposite side of the wing. I'm just going to push the beads together. They don't have to be perfectly the same. And then just rearrange the wings, trim off any extra wire. Bend the halo down, and now we've completed a Dragonfly Angel. You can use these, hang them any way you want, on a tree or on a cupboard, or they look quite nice on a parcel.